What, karate kick? Oh, hold it, Andy. My name is Louis Chapeau. I paint under the alias Your Turn Don't Fall. Show goes until end of November. End of November, so you got the whole of November. So I actually only started painting early 2020, during our first lockdown actually. Never painted before, picked up a paintbrush for my first time during the first lockdown. Posted my first painting to my Instagram story, just for fun. Someone bought it. It's like, okay, let's do another one. Okay, another one, someone bought it. Then again, and again, and again. And about 4 months later, I went full-time. Got signed by Rupert Young Fine Arts. And here we are pretty much a year later for my very first official show, solo. I don't really tend to approach a canvas. I'll have like maybe a general concept sometimes. These pieces I had more of a crystallized idea of the subject, but a lot of times I just kind of sit down and just go at it and see what kind of comes out. And it tends to be a pretty common thread of some socio-political dialogue. Art is one of the sort of last vestiges of like the truly subversive culture where it really can't be touched, almost. Like once it's out there, it's there. And so as an artist, I think you have an obligation to kind of exploit that and to say something for either those who don't necessarily have a voice or to help better educate people on things that they might be unaware of or might be ignorant to. So I've done a series of these black and white pieces. This one is, I'm gonna sound like a conspiracy nut, but I promise you if you do research on all of this, it's factual. But it's really about the CIA's major influence in corporate America, military-industrial complex through the 60s, 70s, 80s. Art has very much been a form of therapy, as it is for, I think, almost everybody that does paint. I genuinely kind of put myself onto the canvas. My energy, my thought process, who I really am, it's true, when I sit down and do a painting, it's like an energy, it's a release, it's something that I have to get out of me, and I think that's why I don't necessarily sit down with a lot of preconceived notions of what I want to do. I think there's a lot of stuff that I have just like repressed and crammed into my head, and painting has become sort of a release valve, really to educate people on how those in power usurp and undermine power and take it from us, and what the different mechanisms of that process are. And so it's really kind of to educate you on how our freedoms are kind of taken away. So this one is really more so about if you can get people to believe in bullshit, more or less, and you can create a reality that is not reality. Like if you look at all the things that we find important in life and we pour our attention into, it's useless and utter crap. But that's the reality that is being constructed really for us, to keep us ignorant, distracted, tired, insecure, and constantly looking within ourselves to figure out what the hell's wrong with us when we should be trying to figure out what the hell's wrong with society. I really love the sort of classic look of old TVs. Nobody uses them anymore, but there's something about that imagery that I don't know, kind of resonates with the idea of, I'm an ending millennial, I'm sort of like, I'm the vanguard millennial, so I'm 37, so there's always TV's gonna wreck the brain. That sort of mentality was, most people, it's now phones and shit like that, but I think that imagery kind of hits to the genesis of that idea that screens and that type of nonsense keeps you distracted, keeps you uneducated, keeps you disengaged. There's a genuine sort of common theme with my pieces, and that is sort of the oppressive, destructive nature of the economic system that we find ourselves in and the key players and power structures within it. First glance, they're nice paintings, but the whole idea is that I want you to like what you're looking at, but then the longer you look at it, you start finding those little nuggets and start picking it apart, and the real meaning of the painting eventually comes out. What to say about this without explaining too much? By opting out of taking pharmaceutical drugs in any way to treat your depression or treat ADD or anything like that is actually a form of rebellion. So really, it's a dialogue on mental health. These two are a little bit more simple. So I'm a big history fanatic. It's what I study and read pretty obsessively. This is just a painting on the French Revolution. This painting is, I'm not sure if people are familiar with the Doomsday Clock. painting's about the end of the world. In bright, beautiful colors. Which it probably would be, whenever it happens. It'll probably be a wonderful kaleidoscope of lights and colors, and it'll be nice for about 5 seconds. This is just a general PSA. I don't think it needs a lot of explanation. I think a lot of people need to see it. I think a lot of men need to see it, just to reinforce this message. I think it's probably one of my most liked photos on my Instagram. By the way, you can check out all of my art at Your Turn Don't Fall. This is on there. Take a look. I think, again, to the point of, I think art needs to be helping elevate people's voices, or you joining the ranks of a movement to strengthen and promote it. Women's rights is a big thing for me. My partner is a women's rights activist. You know, even today we sort of believe that we have a politically equal society, but how many times does a man have to walk to his car with his keys between his fingers? Or, you know, there's just, men and women live in completely different realities. It's unfortunate that I think a lot of males don't see or believe that. So we know your weakness. It's written all over and over and over on this. I won't go into detail. I'll leave it a little vague, but it's really sort of just a rallying cry. Yeah, so again, the show is on until end of November here at the Broken Cage Gallery. The show is We Lucky Chosen Few. Come down, check it out. You can drop me a DM on Instagram at Your Turn Don't Fall. I'm happy to come meet you here, give you a personal tour of the pieces and sort of walk you through them if you have any questions. Happy to do that. So yeah, come check it out. Go check out my Instagram, give it a follow, give me a shout out. Love to connect with anybody that is interested in my work. Yeah.